I spent 8 days in Africa, man, in Nigeria, man, and that was a long overdue trip. And I'll start with the end, and I work my way backwards real briefly, man. We On the way back, we took the slave route in the airplane, and man,
Ooh.
that's crazy, man. The whole way you straight looking at the water, thinking, man,
Mm.
this is the same route they took to bring us here,
Yeah,
and the whole plane was black.
that's awesome.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So I
It-
had the
yeah.
opportunity to go, man. I went and got a chance to meet some really good hospitable people. When we got there, I didn't know what to expect, but man, we got there, man. They look just like me and you.
Oh yeah.
It ain't even no. I'm talking like you expecting to see what they see on TV, the dog. No, man. When you get to Nigeria, them people look like they came straight out of Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
You see somebody who look like everybody you done ever met and know that's black.
You got the same 24 as me. Do something. That time to be worried about the next nigga. Shit. Yeah. Eyes on the prize in front of me. Minding my business, I PYP. Play a position and we gon' eat. Play a position and we gon' eat. Eyes on the prize in front of me. Minding my business, I PYP. Play a position and we gon' eat. Play a position and we gon' eat.
Welcome to the next episode of Play Your Position. We'll be talking to Dr. Howard Henderson, the president of the Criminal Justice Research Center in Texas Southern University. My friend, my guy. We'll be talking about how to be the best person you can be. Do the things you need to do to be successful, NIL. And we'll also talk about that great trip to Africa. That's what he does. This your boy Big Tron. Play your position.
This is where we came from. They look. I mean, when I tell you look just like, I'm talking physical features. I'm talking about demeanor. I mean, just very festive, man. And it was a life-changing experience. I'm still debriefing from the experience, man, because I
Yeah,
saw some things over there, man. I was like, this is unreal.
it's beautiful though, man. Was it
Yeah,
beautiful though?
man. It is, man. And the people. But here's the thing, though, man. In spite of all them people been through over there, see, we don't really think about what they've been through. We only think about what we've been through,
What we've
right?
been through. Absolutely.
And we forget that they're people too, and they've been through stuff. But man, they still, man, when you talk about poverty, oh man, we don't understand poverty. We think we do. Oh man, from the time that sun come up to the time that sun go down, everybody is working, trying to get it because they don't really have any social support network that would give you. I mean, the whole idea of food stamps is they don't know nothing about that.
Right.
So if that person don't make that money that day, they don't eat. Like
Right.
literally, they're not going to eat. Period. And so just the drive that them people have, man, to make it in spite
Right.
of,
Right.
man, it's something. It was like, oh man, it was.
It's a real eye opener. In spite of the circumstances that they're
Right,
living in,
right,
and
right,
like
exactly.
you said, if they don't make money that day, they don't eat.
They
And
don't
it's
need,
like
man.
check. They live day to day.
Man,
It's a day to day.
man, there's no comparison, man. I'm telling you, you be
Absolutely.
like, I cannot, you tell yourself, man, I don't know if I had that kind of. I thought I could drive. I don't know if I. They
Right.
got drive, man.
They got drive.
Yep, they got drive, man. It's something, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to be different, man. And then we don't appreciate the opportunities that we have here. And we don't take advantage of the little dark in here, man. I don't know if you see me. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I can see you.
We don't appreciate really the opportunities that we have over here in the United States to be better. And it's so crazy that when you say the slave trade and when we came here, our people back in the days, even in the 60s, they did more with less. They did more with less, man. We got so many opportunities now. We're not taking advantage of these opportunities. Back in the day, you know, the civil rights movement, slavery, they learned, they wanted to be great. And that's closer to that Nigerian, you know, our ancestors. They were working back then, but now that we've got an opportunity and things are opened up for us, we don't even take advantage of the opportunities that we have. So we can't begin to appreciate where we come from.
Yeah.
And those
You
people
know,
are behind it, man.
man, the thing, you know, like some people will say, well, man, you know, you guys are overlooking the experience of slavery, right? And they're saying you guys not looking at, you know, the barriers that are put in place to make sure that people don't take advantage of the opportunities. And we still got to grapple with that. We still
Yeah,
got to deal with overcoming adversity. We got to
we
deal
do.
with, you know, mental health. We have to deal with, you know, doing things our way, culturally responsive. We got to deal with mentorship. I know what you'll get into, and success at a young age. We'll get into, you know, what works, what doesn't work. All of that, man, is important, man. And hopefully the, you know, the folks that view, you know, your work, man, see that, knowing that, you know, somebody, man, out there watching this, they need some uplift, man. They
Yeah,
need somebody to give them a word of objectivity,
right.
a word that they can make it. Because, man, we didn't really pass down the struggle to this new generation. They didn't really see not having, man. You know, you think about your kids, and I think about mine. Man, when PlayStation 5 came out, they got
Right.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I I would have never got a PlayStation 5 when it came out. By the time I would have got it, it would have been old. It would have been on number 6 or 7. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And these
man.
kids, and you think
Yeah.
about my son, you know, he got a cell phone, he's 13. My daughter's 16, cell phone. Man, I had to buy my own cell phone with my own money. You know, give me no cell phone. You know,
Right.
we just
Right.
bought my daughter a car. She's 16. We bought her. Nobody buy me no car like that. You know, they so they in a different world, man. They grew up, you know, my kids, they knew a black president early in life.
Oh man, and that's
So
big.
they man, what we would man, we were way. I mean, the closest thing we had was Jesse Jackson. He didn't win. And they actually saw one. They've seen a black vice president. Uh,
Mm,
they've seen access to information. I mean, think about it, man. They got iPads. You know, my nephew, man, my great nephew, I think he's about 5. He can work at iPad, man. He be moving it. You know what
right.
I'm saying? You can't tell him nothing. He gonna fact check you right there. You know, he gonna,
Right.
you know, his access to information is important, man. But man, we gotta we don't put the cart before the horse, because
Right.
even though we have access to all of this work, we're not doing what we need to do with it. And I understand why, but I think the tide is beginning to turn, and we starting to go in, because these young kids, they get it, man. They get it.
They
Some of
do.
them,
They
you know,
do.
some of them get it, and some of them don't, man. I think that's, you know, when you think about, you know, Jesus telling us, man, there were people who wasn't of this fold. There always gonna be people around you who don't have.
Right.
A lot of these youngsters, man, I mean, look at NIL deals.
Yeah. That's
Them
changing.
jokers getting it. Them jokers getting it, man. I
Yeah.
mean, look at what happened to Eric Dickerson.
Right.
You know, before the days of NIL, they took I mean, now these kids can get it, take care of their families,
Yeah.
and change. I mean, I'm talking change their families. Some of these folks change their family, man. They in high school, they change the whole family's dynamics.
Right. Right.
You know, and so we come a long way, man, but we got a long way to go.
We got a long way to go. And that being said, you know, man, I want you all. I'm gonna bring you up to date on some things. Me and Howard, this is my brother. He's done some great things. Um, he's moved on. He's a doctor now. We played high school football with each other in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, one of the best towns in the United States of America, one of the fastest growing cities in the United States of America. And Howard has went on to be a doctor at Texas Southern University, and now he's working in the Criminal Justice Research Center there at TSU, Texas Southern University, and doing big things. Um, that being said, we talk about sports, how it changed the dynamics of my life, of your life, put some structure into our lives. And now that these kids are having the opportunity to make monies in high school and change the dynamics of their families early in high school, usually we wanted to play football, go to big colleges, and then go to the league, possibly. Um, Friendships, you develop those friendships in high school, and then you go on and want to be great. But they're able to even take care of their families right now. But you said this message, okay, I I get into the where I want to go with this. We have social media
Mm,
that's influencing our young youth.
mm, right.
Now that we're able to get these opportunities, athletes are able to get the opportunity to make money in high school. How are they gonna know what to do with the money? Even though the money's good, now we have to get this generation to understand how to build equity and money and put that money out there and influence people around them, their other youths that they're growing up with. Put that back in the community at a young age so we can develop something different. I work in the school system and as a social emotional therapist. And we got to be able to put this back into our people. See, all I want our black people to do is start thinking. That's it. And they're getting the wrong message through social media. Even though it's good stuff you can get from social media, it's bad stuff you can get too. So how are we going to influence our youth to not just rap? And I love rap. I rap. I was an entertainer. But how are we going to get our youth to stay out of the jails, man? And I know that's up your alley. That's your thing.
Mm.
You're researching all this and the structure of the police reform acts and different things like that. But how can we come together and get our youths to be a big majority part of this growth? And I don't know if
No,
I'm
I
saying
mean,
it
yeah,
right.
no, you said a mouthful, man.
I did. There's a lot on my
Yeah, you
mind.
said,
How
yeah. I'm just thinking about, if it's even possible to rank those and say, okay, this is number one, this is number two. What I think is that we got to learn to walk and chew gum at the same time. Um, I think number one, we got to get, or we have to get the right role models in front of the kids. You when you're a kid, you don't really understand the overall impact of having the right role model. You don't really you just happen to gravitate toward people, and we both have seen people who gravitated in the wrong direction, and we've seen people gravitate in the right. And oftentimes it was by the luck of the roll of the dice. It wasn't intentionally; it just so happened to be that this person was put in your path, and that person you chose to somewhat emulate, man. And I think we were fortunate enough that we had. I mean, I remember when man, we were just amazed to be in the presence of Bud James, right? We like that. This dude been there, right? We never
absolutely.
saw this dude play, but we had him in our presence, man, and then we had Coach Fields in our presence. I remember he would take us to games, and we were exposed, and I don't even know if people even realize the power of what he was
Mm,
doing, man.
uh,
He
right.
he exposed us to. That's what it's about, man. You got to have somebody who's willing to expose you to something that you're not going to see unless they take you.
Absolutely.
I think back to when Coach Franklin was like, "We can't wear no earrings." Everybody was like, "Man, this dude tripping,"
You tripping.
right?
I put my
But
earrings
he,
in now. I put my earrings in after practice now. I'm wearing
I
earrings.
remember that. I
Right,
remember that, man. I remember when man, we had to wear shirt and tie on Friday, and
right.
you know, and I remember it'd be hot, man. People be like, "Man, it's hot out here, man." But we were able to develop a work ethic that really I don't really see it too much anymore, man. I think it's just a generational difference as a group of people, but I think, to answer your question, the first thing is these kids, somebody's got to put the right role models in front of
Right.
them, because everywhere they go, they looking at the wrong role model. Everywhere they go from the music to the TV, from the TV to outside. Somebody in that 24-hour span of time that they have each day has got to pump the right information into them. I think the second thing, if I can make that the role model piece and mentorship the first one, I think the second approach that needs to be moved in on is this whole idea of youth development, man, and the work that you do and really designing not only in school programs, but we need more after school programs. We need more summer programs that not only focus on like academic enrichment, but job readiness. I mean, a lot of these kids don't want to work. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They don't want to work because they never got that component drilled into them. But I think when you think about life skills, you think about sports, you think about the arts, you talked about you being in entertainment. I remember that, man. We all be singing, man, and Miss
Yep.
Joy saying, man, I'm doing y'all thing, man. And
Yep.
everybody was looking forward to that, man. It gave people something to look forward to, man. We enjoyed going to school because we had fun.
We had fun.
You know, we had
Right.
fun, man. These kids don't even want to. There's nothing fun for them, man. But
Right.
when you think about providing constructive outlets, fostering positive youth development, those programs create a safe environment, man, to build self-esteem, to teach valuable skills. Third, I think, is community engagement. Man, we had something and somewhere to go, right? And involving these kids in community service projects, neighborhood improvement initiatives. When you go to communities all around the country, man, we interviewed 400 young black males around the country between the ages of 15 or 14 and 15 and 24. And the most common critique they had about what kept them out there in the streets, they're like, man, we don't have anything to do. I'm like, it's that simple, right? They were like, man, this is really a response to boredom and a
Right.
lack of money and access to things, right?
Right.
So I think youth development program, I think community engagement is crucial. I think four, man, three was the community engagement piece, but four, man, is man, we got a lot of trauma. We got a lot of trauma, man. And I think, your social emotional work taps into that trauma piece very well because, many of these kids who are from these historically disenfranchised, disinvested communities experience trauma from violence, poverty, adverse childhood experiences. Man, they've shown, man, that prolonged trauma begins to reshape your prefrontal cortex. I mean, it restructures your brain, man, how you respond to things, right? They show, I've done some work with some folks, man, and we looked at how lead toxins in a community inhibits your ability to control your impulses. And if you can't control your impulses, then you end up inside the juvenile justice system. The earlier you end up in that system, the more likely you are to end up in prison. So a lot of these people think that they're just bad kids. These kids they got toxins in their body, man. They got lead poison that they haven't dealt with that's in the water. That may be beyond where we're going, but I think dealing with the trauma and the social emotional work that you've been doing for a while, I think that's necessary to infiltrate in these schools, in these social services, in these youth programs, because we have to address the psychological impact and promote health. Man, think about it, man. You got, you and I had the fortune of surviving a period of time in this country where people weren't surviving.
Right.
The drug war took a lot of folks out of here, man.
Oh,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
And we were able to see a way through that through grace and mercy. But I think that you got kids of people who never dealt with their trauma. So you can't, when they did a study, man, and they were looking at how trauma is transferred from generation to generation, man, through DNA. They were like, they can show where trauma makes its way to your kids and grandkids if you don't deal with it.
Absolutely.
I think another approach, man, I think that would be good is we got to deal with these neighborhood conditions, man. Some of these kids are coming from unsafe neighborhoods. They don't have access to quality education. Property taxes dictate how much money a school gets, and we understand the impact of that. I think you got to, let's just talk about affordable housing, right? Like the housing costs are gone through the roof, even though minimum wage has remained stagnant. Uh, these kids don't have economic opportunities that could possibly impact their youth outcomes. I mean, it make a difference when you got a couple dollars in your pocket, right? And you're able to move differently. I also think they need programming that's relevant to these kids' culture. Who they are, what they mean, how they move in their society is totally dependent upon their cultural worldview. But I think last, I would say, is the idea of collaboration and coordination. We got to work together. Like, you do what you do, I do what I do. We got to be able to come together and foster collaboration. We got to do this in the school system. We got to do this in community organizations. Policing has to look different. Healthcare providers. I mean, we got healthcare problems, man. We got high blood pressure that's unchecked in our community. We're not dealing with it because we're afraid of the doctor for whatever reason. The studies show us Black men don't want to go have colonoscopies to save lives. There's a whole ecosystem of change that has to be dealt with, man. And I think from a policy standpoint, we can align those efforts. We can leverage resources. We can create a comprehensive support system for all people who are at risk. It's not just kids. And I think ultimately empowering youth in disadvantaged neighborhoods simply requires a holistic approach. Even with your show, people need to listen to this so they can learn better how to address unique challenges and provide alternatives that are positive and to create an environment that's conducive to their success. Man, we need to hear what you have to say because, the day-to-day hustle, people don't have the time to sit down and read these books I got behind me. Right. And they're just trying to get it. And every day they're having to work more, they have to work more for less. And so shows like yours provide them an opportunity to reflect and to enter a state of mindfulness where they can strategize on how to get out of their conditions as best they can.
Wow. Hey man, you said it. Man. Hey, bro, you said a lot of stuff right there, and it made a whole lot of sense. Like you said, a lot of trauma, youth development. They need to be exposed to different things outside of their community, um, um, and the collaboration, coordination. You know what I mean? You said it right there. Everybody needs to what? Play their position. It's cliche. Play your position. Everybody has to play their position. God has brought everybody here to do certain things. We have to collab with each other to attack that trauma, to attack things that these young men and these young women, Black and brown kids, are going through. And like you said, once you get into that criminal, once you tap into that end at a young age, more so that you're going to continue to keep on going through that school to prison pipeline, what we were talking about, right? School to prison pipeline. They just push you through, and it's no help for these kids that has trauma. Like I said, so I have trauma in my life, Howard. I have some trauma that I've inherited and I passed on to my kids. Sometimes I have a hard time communicating things, that I never learned how to do. So, it affects me in a certain way, but I'm learning. I'm learning how to deal with those things, and God willing that I don't pass any of those traumas or the things that we went through when we were young. So I understand what you're saying, man. Man, I'm proud of what you're doing. If we could, like the relationship, even with police reform, like I was reading where I was looking at a couple of your interviews where you said, if a probation officer has to have a degree, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A policeman needs to have a degree. He needs to have a bachelor's degree.
Man, listen, man. I think we need more. The work that I've been able to do, man, with the help of a team of people like yourself, man. I don't, the work that we've been able to do, man, the policies that we've been able to help legislators pass have all been policies that I learned needed to be addressed growing up. So when I saw people going to jail for petty crimes, I saw people going to jail for
Mhm.
marijuana, drugs, who were trying to get
Mm.
ahead, trying to have a sense of life and liberty. When I saw people who uh, happened to hop in the wrong car, happened to choose the friends that ended up putting them in different spaces, I recognized that a lot of this was intentional, and the response to it needed a different approach, man. When you think about the folks who reach out to you and tell you, man, I appreciate what you said. You don't know if everything you say is going to reach somebody, but you know
Right.
something is going to reach somebody out there. There's a lot of pain out there, man. There's a lot of people out there who have been exposed to injustice, a lot of people who have an experience of victimization. You talked about your own personal trauma. We all do, man. I think the issue is trying to center the experience in the solution and making sure that we understand not just where we need to go, but how we got here, and how we teach the next generation how to deal with their own issues that they're going to. I mean, again, there's nothing new under the sun, man.
Right.
And I think that's an important piece. You know, we all get a chance to get on the mic at some point in our life. And we don't know how long we're gonna have the mic in our hand, but we got to make sure that as long as we have it, that the verses that we put out there don't really make a difference with somebody. And that's really what keeps me going, is knowing that I don't know how long we got left. And to
Woo!
be able to make a living, as they say, from the neck up, and to be able to help try to solve problems. Man, we were working with a district attorney who was trying to figure out a way to keep people out of jail who shouldn't be there. So we
Right.
said, look, let us look at your data. Let us see if there's any wiggle room here to make a difference and maintain public safety. We found a way for them to reduce the arrest for anybody who had less than 4 ounces of marijuana, and they implemented it. Look how many lives were saved, man. Look how many people who were riding around having fun, and they may have had a joint, or they may have had a couple of joints, and their life just got turned upside down.
Right.
They not a bad person. They
Right.
just have, many of them are just trying to have fun. Man, you move differently when you don't have money in your pocket.
Right. You do.
And so they're going to everybody's going to try to find an outlet for from their experience. And so we've been able to do that kind of work, man. We try to figure out a way to help people. Man, I'll give you another story, man. We got invited by a district attorney to a record expungement program. They had several of these around the city of Houston, where they were basically bringing people in who had warrants, but they couldn't afford to pay the warrant off. They couldn't afford to go to jail. They didn't. Some of these folks, man, I remember a lady running out of their crime, man. She had a warrant for her arrest for like 13 years. She had
Wow.
got a speed ticket that she couldn't afford to pay. And over time they keep adding fees, right? So she was ducking and dodging the police all those years, and she got her record expunged that day, man. Look at the stress that was removed from her. So I've seen, man, what it means to be compassionate in real time, right?
It's
Look
real.
how many people out here, man, are trying to make it, can't make it because they can't afford to make it, and we just throw them away. We say, well, you don't have any value to society
Right.
because you can't pay for a speeding ticket that you got on the way to work. You running late from here, you got a boss that's tripping, saying you're gonna get fired if you're late. I mean, there's so many different things that I think your show can help people get that second win to make it, because
Right.
it's rough. And
Right.
it's hard, but I think people have to find a way to think about what the previous generation did and the struggles that they went through
Right.
and how they made it through that. If they can make it through that, I don't think there's anything that we come up against that we can't adequately deal with.
Right. Right. That's awesome, man. It's good to hear you say that. And as I'm I'm looking at you, Howard, and we're sitting here talking. I mean, I know I'm interviewing you. We're talking about, life and things that we see in this world now. Man, congratulations to you, my brother. Thinking about it, that number 26, back it was 26, Riverdale High School, man. I never thought that I would see you on this level, CNN, ABC, CBS, wherever. You can look for Howard. He's everywhere, man, doing what he does, and he's doing a great job, man. Congratulations to you, King. And that just shows that anything that you want to do in your life, you can do it. I never thought I'd see you doing this, man. Be a Dr.
Yeah.
Howard Henderson, man. Dr. Howard Henderson. Hey, man, I appreciate you, King.
Hey, man. Likewise, man. Appreciate you.
I always put something up on my page, and I say difficult roads and tough times lead to beautiful destinations.
Right.
So you got to go through your stuff.
Right.
Get to where you want to be, man. You got to go through your shit.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you, Howard, man.
Always, man.
We're gonna do this again, and when I want to do it, I want to get a part 2.
Okay.
And I want it to be right there in that office. I want it to be at a restaurant. I want it to be somewhere where we can sit down and really just chop it up, smoke a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you smoke cigars, but I have one when I see you.
Yeah.
So we can enjoy this time, man. Hopefully I get to work with you sometime soon and we make this happen.
Yeah.
And you'll see me on the road speaking engagements at high schools, middle schools, wherever they want me to come, man. I'll be there. But I appreciate your time, King. I love you. Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Riverdale High School, Tennessee State University, whatever you want. TSU, you went to TSU also. Did you go to Tennessee State?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Middle Tennessee State and Tennessee State, man. Yeah.
And Tennessee State. And now you work for TSU.
Yeah, I'm at Texas Southern now. I'm at the other one, right? Yeah.
Well, you're looking clean, too. You're looking cleaner than a whistle, boy. Love you guys. Hey, this is ASAP Motivation. That's my 501c3 company. Play your position, man. Everybody got a position to play in life, man, and you doing it. Your reason, your purpose, and your why, and I appreciate you, King.
Likewise, man. Stay good. Stay up.
Hey, I'm going to talk to you soon, brother. Peace.
Take care, man.
All right, bro.
PYP. Play a position and we gon' eat. Play a position and we gon' eat. Eyes on the prize right in front of me. Mind my business, I PYP.